and a very warm welcome to the second event of the day, the Youth's Men 7.5 kilometre sprint competition here in Östersund for the IBU Youth and Junior World Championship 2025. I'm Scott Dixon, and I'm very much looking forward to taking you through the race events today, where 116 competitors are going to be battling it out, not only for the victory, the flower ceremony and the podium and the medals, but also for the races that follow in 2 days' time, the Mass Start 60. Race that's pretty unfamiliar to a great many people who just watched the World Cup, but a race that is extremely exciting, and many of these youngsters will be hoping that they can get themselves in a good position for that 60-strong mass start. Corby Kubler there, bib number 41. And his fourth place in the individual bodes well for today. Podium yesterday in the mass start. The mixed relay, I should say. Gratulou Minnesole. He had a 5th place with only 2 misses in that race. And interestingly, choosing to start a little bit later, Group 2 for both Gratulou Minnesole and Schoeneger, who are both 51, 53. Flavio Guy starting much further down the order. Bib 100, and with one of the fastest ski times. Missing 5 targets, it's not good enough, but Luke Hulshoff, 9th fastest ski time. A really excellent performance from him, and particularly them, plural, for yesterday's 4th place in the mixed relay, where Canada really had a fantastic day. To get you up to speed on the race results of yesterday, we did have Norway on top of the podium, followed by Germany and then France in the mixed relay. And now, this morning, in the women's 6 kilometre, we had Skog, Martina Skog of Norway, taking the victory with 10 out of 10, a really fantastic race. And Louisa Rouchet in 2nd place. And Ilona Plachekova of Czechia taking 3rd. So these guys now getting ready to get started in the warm-up pen, where the nerves are going to be high. The anticipation, not just for the unknown, what results they may or may not get, but for the pain they will inevitably experience on the road to those results. Christian there, the Danish coach, just chatting away. And what's going to make this race so exciting today is that so many of the favourites choosing to start in Group 4, obviously deciding that they think the conditions are going to get faster as the day goes on. And that is the fact that the conditions are getting quite choppy. But here at the Swedish National Biathlon Arena, and for the youth's men's 7.5 kilometre sprint, we can expect on this course to see a lot of drama. And the height difference of 29 metres from the lowest to highest point, an 18-metre climb, is pretty big and it's pretty brutal. And it's steep and undulating on this course, with some technical corners that don't allow the legs to get much recovery. The temperature, 4 degrees, and the snow temperature has been steadily dropping, and perhaps that's why this man here, a guy, and the other guy competing for France are both choosing to start very low down, or at least in low groups, and then randomized into those positions. Take a look here on the right-hand side of the screen where the skis are all lined up. These skis are communally waxed so as to be the same for everybody. Just one step in the effort to equalize to some degree. The variables are out of the athlete's control. Tom Smith for Great Britain, bib number 12. And a lot of our favorites in the top 20, Tarasuk of Ukraine at the top of the list as you see it there. Is one of my favorites for today, having just missed one in the individual and finishing in 6th place. Gunderson, 8th in the individual, first yesterday in the mixed relay. Tannheimer, he's looking strong. Bib number 32, 33 and 34. We have Bergman, who was 14th in the individual, and Barbiru of Romania. I really would like to see something special from him. He had 16th place with 4 penalties in the individual. He's obviously skiing very quickly. 46th there, Andreas Haug of Norway, another one to watch out for. 28th in the individual, but one of the fastest skiers on the track. 8 penalties is a lot of penalties and a lot of time added on. 45 seconds per miss added on to each and every shot that didn't hit the center. Oliver Hill, a British biathlete who's been training out in France the past couple of years. He's going to be nervous, no doubt, but excited. And then we're starting to get back down to some of these big names. And amongst those big names, I'm including McCulloch of Canada. He did so fantastically well yesterday in the mixed relay that it bears mentioning. He didn't miss a single target. He didn't use any spares. And he really held his team in contention to be taken home by Hulshoff and his teammate for that 4th position, that historic 4th position. Now take a look at that. Flavio Guy of France, bib 100. And below him, Kjellberg of Norway. One final bib to look out for, bib 111, Keller, who could also put in a pretty punchy performance here. He was ranked 11 in the individual, only missing 2, so the shooting carrying him somewhat, but the ski speed is important, and today that is especially true because the sprint competition is all about speed. You can recuperate misses in this race just by skiing fast. 150 meters for every penalty, 10 shots fired, a maximum potential penalty of 1.5k, although we seldom see that. And it's all smiles for some. Bib number 8, just checking, Hulshoff there, just checking that all his magazines are full. It might seem silly that you even need to do that check, but it's not rare enough that people forget to fill their mags to not do it. It does happen. The athlete arrives at the range, raises their hand in hopes that a magazine can be brought to them abruptly. And we see bib number 9 with Galicia. And he had a silver medal performance in the individual. And missing 2 targets, so skiing quick, shooting fast, shooting accurate. He is definitely one of the men to watch today. Jusas Agustinavičius of Lithuania is going to be getting us started for this race today. And he is off. It's going to be a long race and it's going to be filled with lots of excitement. The Lithuanian now getting underway and all eyes will be on him as he enters the shooting range, just giving us that little bit of additional pressure that these athletes so desperately do not need. Zorgov of Bulgaria, perhaps inspired by the early fantastic performance of the Bulgarian junior team just yesterday in the mixed relay, and with their development really thriving in locations such as Bansko, where they have a fantastic base up in altitude, and coming down to places like Östersund, it's a breath of fresh air and a breath of full air. relative to what they are sometimes used to. Teo Produshu.
Number 3 is ready from Macedonia.
Macedonia. Now, he gets started, and he's been racing the IBU Junior Cup this season. For these junior racers hosted by the IBU Cup, where so many of them have an opportunity to stay in Europe and to follow very professionally run, incredibly high-level competitions. Vladislav Maestrov now chasing down Pedrushu. The 30 seconds between these athletes, not really a factor because they need to follow their own race strategy. And another thing that is just so great about these events, 40 different national federations competing in this men's field, 116 starters, and we have participants such as Rosanlis from Greece, who just 20 years ago, some of these nations were barely seen on the international stage, and now they're commonplace. And that's a very welcome change so far as many of the spectators go. We want to see a diverse podium, and today was no different. 6 different nations in the top 6. Absolutely fantastic for the sport. Boy of Denmark now getting started. In Copenhagen, they have the Alpine slope that is built in the middle of the city on a recycling center, incinerator. Noah Saltani of Belgium, another very much developing nation, led by Claude, one of the Claude brothers, who moved over to that nation, and all of a sudden results came, and with results comes money. And where money goes, there is very often a lot more you can do with your athletes and support facilities. Georgi Zargov of Bulgaria now setting a pretty good time. He's looking dynamic, 11.5 seconds in the green, and that's a fantastic performance. Now, Hushov, 8 penalties in the individual just 3 days ago. 33rd position on that occasion, and that does mean that he was skiing incredibly fast. To be precise, he had the 9th fastest ski time, only 39.7 seconds down. And I think we can expect to see a high performance today. But just as I say that, the silver medalist of that individual is about to get started. Galicia of Poland is now hurtling out of the gates, hunting down Hulshoff of Canada, and he's going to be hungry for another fantastic result. Yesterday's 7th place in the mixed relay won't have been overly satisfying, particularly in the shadow of that silver medal, but it's all to play for the Pole. Anton Redkin of Kazakhstan. Just breaking through the gate there, maybe anxious that he started early, but it's perfectly fine to start 3 seconds either side of your start. The timing gate will register the difference, whether it's more or less than your starting time, and just add or subtract that from your start. So that extra little bit of time is just affording these athletes that bit of freedom not to make a critical error out of the start gates and receive a penalty of 30 seconds. But this man is now underway. Carlier of France, and the bronze medalist in the individual and the bronze medalist in the mixed relay. This man is just full of bronze medals, and he's going to want to one-up that today and hopefully get himself into the silver or gold position. Tom Smith, Great Britain. Fantastic athlete and a great guy to have on the team. 18 years of age, has been competing on the youth and junior circuit for this season and last for Great Britain. And with that dynamic technique, rising and falling onto his poles. He's been training a lot with the British team out in France. Next to start is Contos of Italy. And Manuel Contos has had a first top 10 experience at this event. It's only his third ever race actually internationally, the two of which were in 2024 at the Youth Olympic Games in Gangwon, South Korea, where he wasn't quite as high performing, but 7th place in the individual means that this man is one to watch for today. Jusas Auguste Navicius now coming in for his first shoot. Again, feeling very watched on this shooting range. All the supporters looking to see if the very first shot of this race sees a target fall. It's not the best start, 2 misses of 5 so far for Augustin Avicius, but Zorgov of Bulgaria has hit the perfect 3 for 3 so far, missing the 4th, perhaps shooting a little bit too abruptly on that 4th shot, getting away with that last shot, 3.1 seconds, in contrast to the 2.6. That's half a second difference, time between those two shots. And that half a second really does make a big difference if you think about the amount of air you're able to get into your body. Your muscles are absolutely screaming at you for oxygen. They need to recover. And in that precious time lying down on the mat, you really want to maximize it with lots of breathing, but at the cost of positions. It's almost a position a second. So every extra breath you take on that early start gate, then it is going to unfortunately cost you 1 position down the line. But if it means hitting a target, it's an investment well spent. Now, we didn't get to see the checkpoint there, but that was Collier is actually 8.3 seconds down on Galicia at the 1.2 kilometer mark. Jakub Buska of Czechia. And he competed in Brezno this season. Brezno Orzobli. Manuel Kontos, 2.6 seconds down off Galicia. The Polish athlete who has set a very fast time, 2 minutes and 38 seconds to get to 1.5 kilometers. And if past performance is anything to go by, Galicia had the 3rd fastest ski speed in the individual. So obviously can handle these conditions very well. And now Gabriel de Lima Santos, he's getting underway with a very nice technique, dynamic and energetic, wearing Salomon skis. In contrast to the Fischer skis on the feet of Hulshoff as he's about to get settled on the mat. He's looking at the wind flags. He's taking in that information and he's acting on that information. 1, 2, 3 clicks anti-clockwise, meaning he's adjusted 3 to the right. Is that because the wind has dropped or because the wind is up? It's very hard to know, but he took his time to make the decision. And Galicia of Poland now entering the range just as Hulshoff exits with 4 out of 5 hits. Good shooting and a good investment with those corrections. The first target goes down for Galicia. And he misses the 4th. 2.1 seconds, 2.2, 2.2. It's consistent timing between the shots, but it's going to be a costly mistake. As we saw today, it is very possible in the youth women's race to get onto the podium despite mistakes. But the shorter the race, the more costly the penalty is relative to the distance of the race. 150 meters is standard in every race except for single mixed relays when it gets shortened to 75 meters. And there's no spares today. Leo Collier of France, hoping to make it yet another podium, but hopefully not a bronze. He's already got 2 of those at this Youth Junior World Championships so far. Adjusting 1 click to the left. It's a beautiful rhythm, nice control, 3 seconds approximately between every shot, 2 breaths, not too deep, not too shallow. This man is in control and he's about to set a very good time coming out the range. 9.3 seconds ahead of Galicia, who had a penalty loop, so is skiing just shy of the standard so far. But a good performance from the Frenchman. Manuel Contos of Italy. He's settling and he's adjusting. The wind is definitely different. That's 2 clicks to the left. Similar to the corrections we just saw from Collier. The opposite direction to Hushov. So it seems like it's changeable. It was very fast shooting and perhaps unnecessarily so. The strategy is very often, or should always be, hit the targets and then speed up. But it's easy to say that from the comfort and warmth of the commentary booth, and it's much harder to make it happen under all the conflicting pressures, all which Magnus Steiner will be all too aware of. Just nodding the blinder away from his eye as he gets the first shot down in 14.4 seconds. Shot so consistent, there wasn't any more than 0.1 second difference between every single one of those shots, meaning that it was very consistent. The last shot, however, not going down. Jesko Menges of Switzerland. He misses the first shot, and if past performance is anything to go by, which I'm afraid to say it is, he only just hit more than 50% in the individual race, and will certainly be hoping to improve on that performance today. But so far, so bad, unfortunately, for the Swiss. And now that's going to be an extra 600 meters added to his 7.5 kilometer race. Georgi Zorgov now on his 5th and final shot in the stand. He gets it, but it's 1 mistake in prone and 1 mistake in stand for the Bulgarian. Radisuk. Oh, that last shot just creeped down and he knows it. You saw the expression on his face. If you get the edge shot and you clip it at the bottom of the target, it can sometimes take a bit of encouragement to go down. But if you clip it at the top of the target, your odds are better. He comes out 14 seconds, the deficit, out of shoot 1. Jakub Buska of Czechia. He's skiing well. 20 seconds off the time coming into the range, but it's not going to make much of a difference with 300 meters of penalty to get through. Lukas Tannheimer. Silver medalist yesterday with his team. They really all just had a wonderful race, only missing 1 each, 1 spare round each on every single visit. Actually, that was for the juniors, where the consistency was so. But for the youth, they did still get the silver, but that was despite 3 penalty loops. Bergman gets underway, the 18-year-old who has now got underway for his 3rd ever international race. At least that's for the IBU, where he isn't experienced, but he's in a nation that has the support facilities. I mean, we're at one of those facilities right now, and one of the best development programs in the world. Very much still benefiting from Wolfgang Pichler's immense contribution to that team, taking them to Olympic success. But here's a big moment for Galicia of Poland. He's got the ski speed to out-ski errors. He can miss and still make a podium. But look at the wind blowing in his hair. It's not going to be easy. 1.9 to 1.8. It's fast shooting. 5 seconds to get the last one, but the rifle goes on. It's slick. 2 mistakes is perhaps too many if he wants to take the win today. It will remain to be seen how much he is able to out-ski his errors as we go to Phoenix Spark of Australia, who's setting a pretty fast time on the tracks. Has what appears to be badminton tape around the barrel. Manages to get 4 out of 5. And it's a good start for the Australian. But speaking of good starts, Léo Carlier of France hit all of the targets in prone. And if he does it again now, this could bode very well for the Frenchman. He misses the 4th, gets the 5th. Rifle goes on with 9 out of 10. Léo Carlier needs to really work hard now if he's wanting to get a podium, and he needs to hope that others do not perform to a super high standard. But nevertheless, it looks like this is a top 10 performance from Léo Carlier. Now Carlier coming out of shoot 2. This time locked in, 25 seconds ahead of Hulshoff of Canada. And that really does tell me that the Canadian is skiing fantastically well. Zorgov now of Bulgaria. Not on your screen right now, that's the Slovenian suit that you're seeing. But here is Richard Losbergs of Latvia, who is setting a very fast time. And that certainly is not completely unexpected. With the 16th fastest ski time in the individual. Just 1 minute and 24 seconds down. And now with 2 misses, it's costly. And he knows that he's able to ski his way out of trouble, but not that much trouble if he's looking for that top 10. Georgi Zargov of Bulgaria now, having missed 2 out of 10 and skiing very well, is coming in towards the finish line. And some big name Norwegians are getting underway. Gundersen, he started. Tannheimer started. Bergman of Sweden has started. Kubler of Germany is underway as well. And Georgi Zargov now crossing the finish line, setting the time. 20 minutes and 12 seconds. An impressive speed. And speaking of the Norwegians, we have Leo Gundersen. here having an absolute nightmare. You can see he adjusted his right elbow, deeming that that would be the issue. Perhaps a little bit of instability. Seems to have had the effect he wanted, but you saw that edge shot at the top, and it could be that his zero was slightly out. Tarasyuk of Ukraine. Could it be the perfect 10 out of 10 with the Ishmash rifle? He misses the 9th shot, gets the 10th. It's 9 out of 10 for Tarasyuk of Ukraine as Lukas Tannheimer settles down, bib number 32, finishing 10th in the individual with 4 penalties. So far, so good. And it's fantastic shooting. That coupled with pretty impressive ski speed is going to mean that it could be a fantastic day for Tannheimer and potentially another medal after yesterday's silver for this man. He had the 6th fastest ski speed over the course of the individual. So form is good, motivation will be good, especially with all of the buzz surrounding Team Germany right now. Germany still 4th in the overall leaderboard on the medal table. Grzegorz Galicia, 8 seconds in the lead as he passes the last timing check. 6.4 seconds, I should say, in the lead, ahead of Hulshoff, which means that he's actually only maintaining that gap, not making it larger. Hulshoff is skiing fantastically well, and he's coming in right now. Going to set the fastest time ahead of Zorgov, 30 seconds in the green. A really wonderful ski speed there, 8 out of 10. That could be another extraordinary result for the Canadian. He seems to be just getting better and better. Galicia now, with his 3 mistakes, crosses 6.4 seconds ahead of Hulshoff, setting the fastest time, and only by a fraction, but we won't be expecting that to stay for much longer. Not with Leo Carlier coming around the corner fast. Spark of Australia, potentially, I wasn't able to see the number falling there. And now Carlier taking a look between his legs to see what happened behind him, but now all he needs to focus on is getting across that finish line and doing it fast. So far, so good for the Frenchman, who crosses 24.2 seconds in the lead ahead of Galicia of Poland. Alexander Balenko of Ukraine just exiting after his prone, hitting 4. Just as Levin Kunz of Switzerland gets underway. And getting underway is going to be going on for until 15:18 or 16:18 if you're watching from Central Europe. That means over half an hour of starters still to go. Starters every 30 seconds. Nordlander skiing very well at the 1.2K, just 3.4 seconds down. So let's keep an eye on him. Nordlander among the first of the shooters who I was not, the skiers who I was not anticipating setting a really fast ski time, perhaps naively so. But also among them is Adamov of Slovakia, who skied very well but missed all 5 targets in his first prone. But over to his teammate now of Schlenerik of Slovakia. With a nice slick pink rifle stock, gets 4 out of 5, and it's a decent performance, not a bad ski time. But Manuel Contes, he's missed 3 targets of the total 10, and is 43 seconds back and counting with over 100 meters to go. He's coming towards the finish line, is trying to get under the 1 minute mark behind Carlier of France. He's slotting himself into the 4th position with Louis of USA now on our screen, and Kubler of Germany at the top right, who misses his last shot. John Louis of USA now getting 5 out of 5. Fantastic shooting as his poles get a little bit tangled as he skips off, but nice, quick, dynamic exit to the range, putting one pole under his armpit so that he can properly get the other one on, but just taking a little bit longer than perhaps he'd have liked to get that pole on, but still setting the 7th fastest time till this point. And bearing in mind, he's wearing bib number 40, so that's a fantastic time for the American. Now we have Losbergs on our screen. He's really taking his time, and sometimes when you take so long, 26.2 seconds, it can lead you to have too many uncontrollable or involuntary thoughts. But the first shot was a miss, but that's been recovered by 4 very nice, accurate shots. Slow but effective. Taras Tarasik of Ukraine coming in for his sprint finish now, setting a time of over 40 seconds back, 43.9 to be precise. 4th position so far for the Ukrainian. And now Lucas Tannheimer, he hasn't missed a single shot. We've spoke about his potential. He's got it. Today can be a victory, but that is not the way to go about it. First shot in the stand is a miss. Nordlander of Sweden on the top right of your screen, shooting well, 1 miss so far. Tannheimer, he goes 4 out of 5. It's definitely not the 100% that he was after, but it could be good enough with his ski speed to secure a really fantastic result today. So far, nobody has shot the perfect clean of 25 athletes. The wind conditions are difficult. Andreas Haug has missed 4 out of 5 targets, and only after that 4th shot deciding that he needs to make a correction. Perhaps a little bit too late for making an adjustment to the sights, but he still has to fight for every second to make it into the mass start 60, just as Jakob Buska is doing with his 3 mistakes, 1 minute and 38 seconds back in 7th place currently. Oscar Bergman, bib number 33, representing Sweden, the home nation. Could he be the first to hit the perfect 10 out of 10 today? The crowd would love it. He manages it in front of his home crowd despite the pressure, and he is going to be the first person to come out of the shooting range with the perfect 10 out of 10. Oscar Bergman of Sweden sets what looks to be and is the 3rd fastest time so far, 25.9 seconds back off Tannheimer of Germany. But that's having hit all the targets. Tannheimer, he's missed 1. Carlier, he's missed 1. And here is the standings. As you can see, Luc Hulshoff of Canada having a fantastic race, despite those 2 misses, is very much in contention for a top 10, perhaps another flower ceremony. And now Gratulou Minnesole setting a quick time. You can see 45 seconds passed until his teammate Tannheimer passed the checkpoint. But that clock is ticking, and it seems to be ticking fast when you watch it, and you know that 5 shots still remain to be fired. The first miss is high left. And shots are generally falling to the high left. But it doesn't matter. The first target was a miss, and a big one at that, but the rest were clean. Gratulou Minnesole now taking a left turn onto the 150-meter penalty loop as we cut to Lucas Tannheimer of Germany, who sets an even faster last lap. He's now gained 5 seconds on his closest rival, Carlier of France, and has really put in a big punch on this last lap. Let's see if he can hold it together. As Michel Adamov of Slovakia, he was skiing brutally fast on that first lap, perhaps at the detriment of his shooting, missing all 5 targets. Matthaus Schoeneger of Austria, one of our fastest skiers. In the individual. 6 penalties then. And at this rate, he could have 6 penalties now. That's 2 hits of 5. Yes, he's a fast skier, but you can only do so much with the skis. He's going to have to work hard. The Austrian has some time to make up. 450 meters added to his penalty loop. But Oscar Bergman has no penalty loops to speak of. He hits the perfect 10 out of 10. Yes, he's losing time on the skis to Hulshov, to Tarasik of Ukraine, but still a wonderful performance on the shooting range in these windy conditions. And the only biathlete so far to get the perfect 10 out of 10. Kubler on the top right of your screen, now hitting 4 out of 5 in the stand. He gets 5 out of 5. That means he has hit 9 out of 10. Kubler came into the shooting range in 4th position and is going to leave the shooting range in an equally strong position. The Latvian Losbers crossing the line there, as Kubler sets a really fantastic time behind Tannheimer, and he looks very relaxed. This man, quite the opposite. He looks furious. He looks dynamic, and he knows that he has to fight for every single second. He knows that he'll have not just his teammate Kubler hunting him down, but others as well. It's a nice downhill finish, meaning they can rest before that final punch over the line, as Lucas Tannheimer is now coming over to the finish line for what could be a victory today. 14.8 seconds in the green. Could that be a gold medal performance today ahead of Carlier of France? He will be wondering, has he done enough? And will, for the next hour, be anxiously watching the clock, watching to see if anybody is threatening that time. Performance today won't be threatening for the victory. 54.8 seconds back. But there's certainly no space for complacency at this point. And if you're watching thinking that it is all said and done, you could not be further from the reality of this race. We have, starting a bib 89, Roysland of Norway. We have 90, Anding of Germany. 92, Guy of France. All of these athletes can win. Another Guy of France wearing bib 100. Schellberg, 101. Keller, 111. All athletes who could stand a chance of winning today. Now, Oscar Bergman with his perfect 10 out of 10. Could he be the only biathlete to do the perfect 10 out of 10? Gets himself into 5th position. Wonderful performance in front of his home crowd. So much can still change in this race. Graham Benson of Great Britain just started. Krukov of Ukraine is next to get underway. Let's take a look at Oskar Jansson now of Sweden, wearing bib number 68. He had 6 penalties in the individual. Looks to be skiing very well, but setting 33rd fastest time to the 1.2k mark, despite that dynamic skate 2. So losing more time than I would have expected, just superficially looking. And Dragos Barbiru of Romania, one of those names that I have down on my list as being one of interest. Skiing very well, finishing 16th in the individual. And having the 23rd fastest ski time, so he's one of the best on the skis. And Dragos Barbiru of Romania, hitting 8 out of 10, 1 minute and 54 seconds back, just outside the top 10 as it currently stands. We can expect that to become a 20 to 30 position as this race evolves. Alexander Bilanenko of Ukraine, one such athlete who can depose the Romanian. And what are they fighting for? Well, of course, the stakes are high in this race alone. Every second counting, because it could mean losing a position to a competitor. Oskar Bilanenko crossing the line, 129 back, slotting into 10th place. But also, the results from today matter for the mass start 60 in 2 days' time, where all 60 biathletes start together, just like a mass start 30 in the World Cup, except twice as many. As Camille Grattelou-Minnesole of France misses the first target in his stand. He's missed one in the prone. He's shooting incredibly quick. 1.6 seconds separating his 4th and 5th shot. He gets 8 out of 10. And now coming into shooting number 2. Grattelou-Minnesole was 41.6 seconds back, just behind Hoshoff of Canada. Corby Kubler of Germany now. Tannheimer, his teammate, just crossed the line if they were to have started at the same time. So that is the distance between the two teammates. Corby Kubler now trying to establish his position on the podium, which, as it currently stands, is very much going to be the case. He's going to slot in ahead of Galicia of Poland, who missed 3 targets, meaning that 2 Germans stand on the podium so far in this men's sprint competition. 7.5 kilometers crossed, and a lot of pain. And you can really see that manifested in their collapsing over the line, doubling over in search of some oxygen. Competed at the Youth Olympic Games in Fornia Valkyrie 2 years ago. Had pretty stable positions ever since. Oskar Jansson in the 40s and 50s. Only 3 international races to his name. And perhaps this doesn't feel so much like an international race. He's on his home turf, in front of his home crowd, surrounded by competitors from other nations. Kajetan Urbanek of Poland, he gets started. And now we're getting close to those names, those formidable names that are gonna start mixing things up. McCulloch, he's gonna start soon, of Canada. Roysland of Norway will soon get started. And Andling of Germany. We will definitely be keeping track of their performances, and we will see if they made some good decisions starting later. Flavio Guy of France Youth Olympic gold medalist in gang one. Excuse me, a bronze medalist in gang one. The gold medal going to Antonin Guy. Sima Heckenberger of Austria. With a lovely technique, very good technique, able to get his body weight over each ski, or the ski under his body weight is probably the correct way to term that. As Camille Grattelou-Minnesole of France charging up this hill. He's got some people to chase in front of him, despite it being a time trial, but he's like, no, I need to get by, because he's fighting for precious seconds. 6th place currently with 43 seconds down. And for Grattelou-Minnesole, he is just 2 seconds down of Tarasik of Ukraine, and just 4.6 seconds down on Kubler of Germany. Elmar Nordlander, once again, getting cheered on by his home support. He's missed 3 out of 10. Existing in a team that's still thriving off the back of Wolfgang Pichler's immense contribution, and sometimes controversial, but the results came. Team Sweden rose to significant glory, and Elmar Nordlander crossing the line 1:55 seconds back. There's a long future ahead of him in the wake of that success. Krukov missing 1 target, 4 go down. Big gasps filling the lungs, because soon the breaths are going to become a little bit less dynamic, a little bit shallower. Simone Motta of Italy manages to get 4 out of 5. It's never a disaster. 4 out of 5. We can live with 4 out of 5. Now I can report that still nobody else has hit the perfect 10 out of 10. And that's after having 56 cross the second shoot. And Camille Grattelou-Minnesole there on his final charge for the line. He's managed to get himself 0.3 seconds ahead of Hulshoff. And Saarinen of Finland there, just missing out on one of those targets. But it's all to play for. Grattelou-Minnesole, he will have been told that the Canadian is just on his heels. Hulshoff will be watching eagerly to see if he's going to be deposed from his 6th position. If not now, then surely later by some of those formidable later starters. But perhaps it's going to happen now with Grattelou-Minnesole charging across the line. 8 hits out of 10. 43 seconds is the deficit, and 2.4 seconds ahead of Hulshoff. Hulshoff might be saddened to hear that he lost 6 in that 600 meters. Lost 2.4 seconds on what was pretty much just amounting to downhill. And that can be entirely attributable to the skis. It really can. What the IBU is doing, and for these junior races, is having communal waxing, where or common waxing, which I will elaborate on more after Antonin Guy, one of our hot favorites for the race today, who's looking very, very prepared. And he's got plenty of experience winning races just like this at the very highest level. With a victory in Gangwon in the individual gold medal, single mixed relay gold medal, sprint gold medal, mixed relay silver medal. Antonin Guy is where we will be watching over the course of this race. Krinic of Croatia misses his last 2 shots. First 3 go down. Alias Sule, or Sol, I should say. setting a good time. If all of these targets go down, you could expect Elias to get himself inside that top 10, if not even better. It's looking really, really good for the American. With 6 penalties, 43rd in the individual. '26th fastest ski time. He's just off the lead, 0.9 seconds down on Carlier and just 0.3 seconds down on Tannheimer. Wow, this is a very strong performance from Seoul of USA. A performance which, if he can sustain, suggests he could be capable of a podium today. Gigi Lupoe of Romania having a stumble at the height of fatigue, but crossing the line 1 minute and 52 seconds down. Oliver Gardosovici, please excuse that terrible pronunciation there, but he gets underway. And it's just getting underway after many have finished, and long ago as well. Simon Heckenberger now of Austria coming in with a pretty impressive time. Look at the clock, 30 seconds now until Carlier came out in first position, having hit all of the prone targets but missed in stand. For the likes of Heckenberger, for the likes of Seoul, there is opportunity. If these targets go down, he stares at the target, almost willing it to change, but it doesn't. The last shot did not go down. Antonin Guy, let's see, 10.7 second off Galicia at the first time of asking. Now returning to bib number 100. The day seems to be developing as Flavio Guy is about to start, just as Malcolm McCullough settles into the range after his absolutely fantastic leg yesterday, not missing a single shot in the mixed relay. 4th position there, but 2 misses for himself, shooting very, very quickly. The glasses fall down. Flavio Guy of France breaks through the timing gate. Elias Seoul, 12.6 seconds down. Well, this is really shaping up to be a wonderful performance, if only he can sustain it. Vasilin Belchinski of Bulgaria, missing 2 in his prone and 0 in the stand. Emil Kjellberg of Norway, an experience of a veteran of high-level competition, but only having raced in 1 international IBU competition in his history. He's only 18 years of age, and he's been on the Norwegian Cup, where he can compare himself against some of the best in the world. Tove Roysland of Norway. Taking a little bit of an extra breath, having a bit more air into his body after shot 3, but it was worth it. 5 targets go down for Tove Roysland. Anding of Germany, he misses his first shot. Graham Benson now also in the range for Great Britain, going 4 out of 5. And it's 2 misses for Luca Anding, and he's not skiing quick enough to undo that mistake. So How is it shaping up? Who has the potential to do some damage? Well, we know that Sol of America, Elias Sol, is skiing well and he's shooting accurately. Sandegard of Sweden, 20 seconds back at this point. But this is the man who has won so many international high-level races. Has 1, 2, 3, 4, it looked like 5 clicks anti-clockwise. That's 5 clicks to the right. That is a massive change to his sights. That takes confidence. Miss low left. He clicked right, so perhaps he could have come more. No, that miss to the right suggests perhaps the wind has dampened down. He'll be frustrated by that, but to have a miss on the bottom left and a miss on the bottom right at least indicates that thankfully he had the right instincts to make those changes. Well, is that allowed, a running start? I actually don't know if it is. I don't know. That's I've never seen that before. I don't think he knew that it was his start there, and then it suddenly occurred to him that was Malik, just charging through the start gate. Yeah, so to be reviewed whether a running start is something you're allowed to do, and if it is, perhaps that's something we should see some more of, because it certainly gives you a few seconds advantage, and every second counts. Elias Sol is going to know that better than absolutely everybody right now. The pressure is on. He knows he's doing well. Come on. He needs to get this last shot. He does get it. Fantastic. 9 out of 10 for Elias Sol. It looks like we could see an American in the top 10. That is a really great performance. He needs to get those poles on sharp. The glasses can wait. Let's get going. It's time to make every single second count. He takes a left turn onto the penalty loop. And it's like the script writers of this race really knew how to shape the action, starting some of the favorites later on, really teasing the potential to see some upsets. But Tannheimer, the German, is still at the very top of the leaderboard at the finish. And he is at the top of the leaderboard after shoot 2. And he is also second on the leaderboard at shoot 1. That means that nobody is threatening Tannheimer's fantastic 9 out of 10 hits today. And it could be a victory. Oscar Jansson of Sweden hits 7 out of 10. A result that he's not going to be too pleased with, but 25th place means so far in the top 30. I doubt that will stand. We've got some big names still to come. But getting into the top 30 is vital. Why? Because in the in the mass start 60 in 2 days' time, the top 30 will do 1 lap, shoot, whereas the remaining 30 will ski past the shooting range and then shoot on the next lap. And then the first 30 will do 2 laps. And of course, being in that top 30 and skiing with the pace of the best is where you want to be. And that's where Flavio Guy intends to be. He's skiing incredibly well. And coming into shoot 1, he's got the second fastest ski time, 1.7 seconds in the red, and 8.3 seconds ahead of Tannheimer of Germany. One big breath between each shot, a miss to the low right, and then a miss high. Now, both of the guys have had a miss, or 2 misses in their prone. This means that Tannheimer is going to start getting nervous, but he's got to keep his eyes peeled because Emil Schellenberg of Norway is another athlete who is very capable of creating an upset. 12.9 seconds off the lead ski time coming into the range. Just 2.9 seconds down on Tannheimer, but he's got a miss. Now, Tannheimer has a miss in the stand, and Schellenberg has a miss in the prone. That means that if Schellenberg goes clear in the stand, they've evened it out, and they're skiing very similar. Now, if Guy, either of them actually, if they ski, or Fabian Guy in this case, he is skiing about 10 seconds a lap quicker, which means it is still possible with 2 mistakes to get on the top of the podium, but it requires a 10 out of 10. 5 out of 5, unlike this man who got 10 out of 10. That's Arttu Reems of Finland, who's got a really fantastic shooting record there today. And Reems settling into 6th position, 43.2 back as we turn to Roysland of Norway. And he gets 10 out of 10, clean shooting for the Norwegian. And he's got a little bit of a ways to travel until he gets to the timing checkpoint. 9 seconds, 8 seconds, 7 seconds on the clock. Roysland is going to have to put in a fierce final lap if he is going to contend with Tannheimer's exceptional performance. 0.8 seconds down on the German, and the German did an extra penalty loop, indicating that he is skiing quicker than the Norwegian. Let's take a look at the overall results at the finish line. Lucas Tannheimer, he's in the lead, and Carlier of France is in 2nd place. However, at shooting 2, it's a different story. Roysland of Norway is just behind Tannheimer, and I do excuse the speed in which those graphics come and go, but 0.8 seconds is the margin, and that is a margin easily attainable, especially if you're receiving that information around the track, which Roysland most certainly is going to be. Now, Kubler of Germany, he was 2.5 seconds back after shooting 2, and he finished, would you believe it, 27.1 seconds back. Now, if that's anything to go by, Tannheimer had quite an astonishingly fast last lap. Now, Elias Sol of USA, 0 and then 1, 9 out of 10, and skiing the race of his career. 1 minute and 7 seconds back to the final checkpoint before the finish. The race where Antonin Guy needs to hit these shots, and he's no stranger to hitting 5 out of 5 in stand. He does it, 5 out of 5. Lovely shooting, and every little moment that goes by that isn't contributing towards forward momentum is going to be wasted, because he needs to hunt down the victory in this race. Antonin Guy is a potential victor. Elias Sol, he's going to be delighted with this race, crossing the line 1 minute 9 seconds back, or pretty much 1 minute and 10 seconds back. Top 10 performance so far, and a fantastic race for the American. As we exit shoot number 2. Antonin Guy, 45.9 seconds back. It's a significant margin, and something tells me this track is not getting faster like some of these late starters would have hoped. Roysland, 16 seconds back. A message he has just received loud and clear in his ear. He knows that he has got a lot of work to do. I think that was Finn Newton we just saw on our screen for Great Britain as well. But Roysland, he's going for the win, but can he bring back 6 seconds until the finish? 1.5 kilometers, 16 seconds will be a challenge. Sablina of Ukraine, already having missed 2, he gets the 5th. So it's not going to be a racing contention today for the Ukrainian. Tobit Keller of Switzerland. That's good shooting from Keller, nice and controlled. It's time, but he's also gaining extra recovery. There's a positive silver lining, you can look at it. But that's going to place him 20.2 seconds back, 11th position coming out of the range. Tove Roisland now, he's gone 10 for 10, and he's now putting in his sprint finish. Let's see if that 16 seconds has evolved. It certainly has. All that tells me he's lost 2.3 seconds. Tannheimer really is giving it some, or was giving it some, around the track. It looks like Tannheimer's early time is untouchable, and to what extent that is as a result of the track deteriorating is hard to know from the comfort of this commentary booth, but I suspect it's going to play a part. Tove Roisland is certainly not going to claim the victory today, but he is certainly trying, and as Andreas Kvam, their coach, perhaps one of his colleagues there, just giving him every little bit of support as he comes into the final 100-meter stretch. Tove Roisland, now having hit all 10 targets, is going for what could be a silver medal. It's not, it's bronze at this current moment in time, 17 seconds down. What a fantastic last lap for the Norwegian. Emil Kjellberg, also of Norway now, having to reset. He appears to be struggling with stability, likely due to fatigue in his legs, but he really is taking his time. 36 seconds to the first shot, 40.5 to get the second one down, and he's quite likely experiencing what's known as disco leg, where the knees just rattle, and there's some uncontrollable shaking. You might be able to get a view. He's taken such a long time to get the shots down, he's actually lost count. He had to pull the bolt back to see inside the chamber to basically evaluate whether he had any more shots in the chamber. And Finn Newton of Great Britain just settling down onto the mat. We saw the Great Britain flag on his hat just as the camera panned away. Antonin Guy now losing more and more time. It's getting slower and slower for the Frenchman, and that does suggest to me, given his track record, that the track is getting slower and slower. Those who gambled and went later are paying the price for that now in precious seconds. Seconds that are being lost in the tens. This is going to make for an absolutely fascinating mass start 60, with so many within 10 seconds of each other. Now Antonin Guy hurtling towards the finish line in the last sprint finish, getting that toe as far ahead as possible, 56.6, slotting into 10th position. And you can see the struggling bodies on the floor there. Lucas Tannheimer is looking untouchable. Leo Carlier, his time has stood the test of time. Roisland, the first among the later starters to have an impact on the podium, with the perfect 10 out of 10, which, had he started earlier, might have been an even greater result. Sondergaard of Sweden now, just coming through that checkpoint.
Is in the penalty loop for the Czech team.
Apologies there for the technical error, but we are back as Malik crosses the checkpoint. And Tobit Keller, who has hit all 5 targets, according to this camera lens, is going to be coming around that corner pretty soon. Here he is. And just cruising, recuperating, getting the breath back. And such is the necessity prior to coming onto the shooting range. It's become fairly fashionable these days to get the targets down with 1 breath between each shot. It's a rhythm which many cannot handle for lack of fitness to be able to sustain that rhythm accurately. But also the technique. You've got to be able to do it without being breathless, to then be able to do it with being breathless. Now let's see if Tobit Keller can join the rare ranks of those who have hit the perfect 10. He cannot. The late starter has got 3 out of 4 so far and 4 out of 5. That's 9 out of 10 for Keller of Switzerland, as Tore Sandgaard of Sweden crosses the line 1 minute and 23 seconds back. So Keller now about to come out of shooting number 1, and I'm going to take a look down the order to see if any of these big names stand a chance of impacting the top 3. Well, as it currently stands at the end of shooting number 1, Carlier of France, he's still got the fastest time, and Tannheimer with the 2nd fastest time, and would you have it, Sewell of America with the 3rd fastest time at that point of asking. Really great race for the American. Tobit Keller now of Switzerland coming out as we see a really dynamic sprint finish here from Flavio Gai. That is an unfortunate result with 4 mistakes, but despite all 4 of those mistakes, still managing to make it into the top 20. And what he might not realize is that it's annoying, but he's still going to be near the front of the Mass Start 60 when this race is all said and done. So in 2 days' time, reaping the rewards of their efforts today to get themselves closer to the front in the Mass Start 60, which is going to be so exciting. 4 races all in 1 day. You must join us for that. That's on the 3rd of March. Yaka Pilar, he's hit 4 out of 5, missed the last shot, the graphic just catching up, but either that or it was a hit and the graphic just didn't tell us. But either way, I will get you up to date with that. Now that's tired legs for sure. Emil Kjellberg of Norway, he's missed 4 out of 10 and he's paid the price for it. But not only has he paid the price for the misses, he took what seemed like an age getting those targets down in stand. There was something wrong with his legs. It happened. It's something that happens to the best in the world. When the legs tremble, there's very little that you can do about it. Now, he's not going to make the top 30, so for the mass start 60, he's going to be in the second rank. But he's got some good company who are going to be keeping the pace high. And that very much including himself. These Norwegians are no strangers to high-level races. The Norwegian Cup, one of the most sought-after cups in the world outside of the IBU Cup and IBU Junior Cup. Skarin about to cross the line, 2:25 back. But the IBU really taking effort to equalize or to make things more fair, as they might potentially argue it, by having common waxing. So none of these athletes have anything different in terms of wax on the base of their skis. At the common waxing station, there's different stations where all the skis go through, they get cleaned, they have wax applied, and they have the same process delivered to each ski before being put on the rack. And no wax team is able to touch those skis again until they collect them just before their start. Mikael Malek, and he shot very well in his last stand, nice and quickly, dynamic shooting. He would have had Andrei Moravec as one of his inspirations, certainly one of mine, one of the all-time great Czech male biathletes. And now with 8 out of 10, he is cruising in a skate 3 technique across the finish line, 1:34 back. It's a very good time, making it into the top 20 and doing a snowplow right at the heels of his competitor. Skarin of Kazakhstan. But here it is. This is not going to change. Lucas Tannheimer has won the gold medal today. Leo Carlier has got the silver. And in third is Tove Roisland of Norway. Just 17.1 seconds down. Crossing the line in 18 minutes and 56 seconds. Tannheimer claiming the victory today. And it's been a really successful championships for him after yesterday's mixed relay silver medal. In the individual, he had a 10th position, really skiing his way out of trouble on that occasion. And here's Tobit Keller, 9 out of 10, setting a good time as well. So we'll be tracking him on the way in. But as you can see, the skis having to cut through this deep snow. And although all the wax is the same for athletes, there are some things that can be done by the waxing and the ski teams to gain some advantage, and that is to put a structure under the skis. That's a pattern pressed into the plastic base of the ski that allows the ski to cut through different types of snow better. Tobit Keller now setting a very good time. Could it be a top 15? It is. 1 minute and 14.9 seconds off the lead. Just settling in behind Kotos of Italy there. And as well as the structure, and certainly the most pivotal factor, is the actual ski itself. Some nations have hundreds and hundreds of skis that they can filter through and test and determine which ones are the best. The Norwegians will always receive the best skis, and money can seldom buy you that top level ski because it's a process that is almost owned by some of those top nations. And when you get a good set of skis in these lower nations, you really keep a hold of them because you need them to stand the test of time. Olivers Bresme of Latvia, having missed 4 targets. some of these athletes just trying to get their best result, to make themselves proud. Oliver's Bresmi. And let's take a look down the order to see who is on the edge and who's going to be waiting to see if they've qualified. Well, Gregor Rupnik, currently in 60th place at the finish line, is now, just as I spoke, being kicked out, and Pilar kicking out the next guy as well. So Redkin is on the edge and will be watching the finish. That's Redkin of Kazakhstan, and he will be hoping that nobody else crosses the line in the top 60. Could this be one now? It certainly is not. Seblina of Ukraine missing 5. It's just too much. And between 60th and 55, well, actually, let's go even lower than that. There's 8 people all within 13 seconds. That's how tight it is back at the back end of the field. And Oscar Bergman, the first of those to hit the perfect 10 out of 10 after Roysland of Norway. Excuse me, no, that's incorrect. Artu Remes of Finland, he hit 10 out of 10. And that's 3 in the top 10 with the perfect shoot. Now, if you have any intention of leaving us before the medal ceremony, then I must tell you that the races coming up are going to be very exciting. Tomorrow we have the junior women 7.5 kilometer sprint, and the day after, in the afternoon, we have the men's 10 kilometer sprint. Then on the 3rd, we have all 4 mass start 60 races, which are going to be absolutely fascinating. Definitely come and watch that as we watch Fredrik Valby on his final stretch towards the finish. On the 4th, every single day we have action here at this Youth Junior World Championships. And we have the 3 times 6 kilometer relay for the youth women, and 3 times 7.5 for the youth men. Valby there just failing to make it into the top 60, disappointingly, but that's the reality. And then junior women, we have 4 times 6 kilometer relay on the 5th of March, and the junior men, the 4 times 7.5 kilometer relay. So do come and have a look at these races, which promise a lot of drama and excitement. Thomas van de Kamp of USA, 7 out of 10, and currently outside, and finally outside the top 60. An unfortunate position, but remember, a lot of these results are relative, and for him, that's a good result today. 7 out of 10 hits. The positives are so important. Now Siwa, he's didn't actually finish the individual. Not entirely certain of what the cause for that was, but with only a couple hundred meters to go, it looks as if we're going to see Siwa finish today. And he needs to keep pushing hard, because just behind Siwa at the 6.9 kilometer mark, Oliver Hill, who missed more and is apparently skiing faster than the Polish athlete. So clearly skiing well for the Brit there. Oliver Hill, one of the British talent identification athletes that came up through a lot of IBU Cup support and a lot of investment from the British Biathlon Union to get these youngsters going in Great Britain. So very nice to see the Brits contending with teams such as Poland, who have the infrastructure. Indeed, the last starter today is Finn Newton, last bib. That's got to be some pressure at the Youth Junior World Championships. I've had the last bib myself, and sometimes, speak of the devil, here he is. This man has really put in some incredible work over the years. Finlay Newton, he's missed 5 targets, but there's no shame in that. He's only been doing biathlon for 18 months. It's hardly a heartbeat, but this man has picked up the technique so incredibly fast, and that's due to his incredible effort and training. Very often getting up in the morning to go train in the supermarket car park, because that's the best facilities that some of these athletes in Great Britain have at their disposal. But look at that skate 2, skipping all the way up this hill, absolutely refusing to break into skate 1, giving it his absolute all. Perhaps could have done with one extra pole push over the top there, but that's my coaching voice scrutinizing, perhaps needlessly, because this is such a fantastic performance to see. I personally coached Finlay Newton and selected him to be competing for the British team. He's formerly, or perhaps currently, dancer turned biathlete. So he knows a lot about coordination, but he also knows a lot about determination. This man cannot be stopped. He has an he eagerly awaits the training that is set for him, and now he's going to put in a final sprint finish in good old Finn Newton fashion, pointing that ski perfectly forward. It's dynamic, and he crosses the line, 6:49 back, having done himself very proud. And I know his parents are going to be watching on fondly, having seen him develop over the years. Really working hard, despite having very little by way of facilities in the UK. Great work, Finn Newton. Now over to our winners: Lucas Tannheimer of Germany, Leo Carlier of France, and Tove Roisland of Norway. That is the bronze, silver, and gold medals. And a good day for Canada as well, having managed to secure a top 10, 8th place for Hushoff. Really is in good form. And that form, I wouldn't like to say it has come from nowhere, but it's hard to really measure. He competed in Prince George, a place where the Brits went on a training camp with me, and that's a very unique, charismatic place. Tom Smith there, making the top 60 for Great Britain as well. Andreas Haug just in front of him, so he's got good company. And what makes the Mass Start 60 so interesting is the pacing. In the early laps, you really don't know where you are relative to your competitors who have entered the range at a different time to you, and they converge after chute 2. And so that means that it's absolutely critical to keep the pace up, less by way of tactics and more by way of simply getting over the track as quickly as possible. The last athlete to make that Mass Start 60 today was Anton Redkin. You'll be relieved. 2 minutes and 48 seconds back. And of the athletes that I had in my estimations as being a favorite for a top 10, the lowest performing among them, Andreas Haug of Norway. He finished in 50th. And Kjellberg of Norway is down in 44th. Steiner of Austria, he was down in 43rd. Gundersen of Norway down in 38th. Something tells me that the strategy of starting late was not the really set the course on fire. He missed one target, but despite that one miss, was able to bring it back and claim the victory. His first lap, 10 seconds off Galicia of Poland in terms of course time. And in course time 2, he set the equal fastest time with Galicia.
Congratulations, Lukas, for winning the youth sprint gold medal here in Östersund. It was really tough conditions today. How was it for you at the track?
I think the track was really good. I like it here, and yes, it was really great to skiing.
Could you imagine being a world champion?
I hoped so, but I never imagined this.
Your sister did this in sprint also 2 years ago. How does it feel to share it with her?
It's a really great feeling to share the same result as my sister.
Thank you. Congratulations again.
Thank you.
Isn't that amazing? His sister achieving this very same result 2 years ago. And if you are going to be hanging around, we've got the medal ceremony coming up now. So do stay for that. But if you are leaving us before that, I've been Scott Dixon, and it's been a real pleasure to talk you through this race. And it's only the beginning. Much of the excitement is yet to come. Thomas, congratulating the competitors who have all made it into that top 6. And the women's race earlier on today, we had 6 different nations in the top 6. We have 5 different nations today for the men's, 2 Germans in the top 6. Other than that, a lot of diversity as far as nations are concerned. And that really matters. The IBU investing in some of these smaller nations is a testament to their effort, their foresight, because a sport that is dominated by a single nation is of little interest to an international audience. But a sport that is thriving has many different nations doing well. The French just doing fantastic. And today, with their silver medal, you can still say it was actually wrong. It was 4 different nations, 2 French and 2 German in the top 6. Maths clearly failing me there.
The medals will be awarded by IBU. Board member is the Tore Bøygaard from Norway, accompanied by the Secretary General of the Swedish Biathlon Federation, Mr. Richard Geniek. Third place and winner of the bronze medal representing Norway, Tove Røisland.
Now Røisland running up to the podium to receive his bronze medal. He'll be proud, ecstatic. The endorphins from the race alone will still be buzzing through his body, as is the case with so many. But the thrill of being on the podium is a feeling that very few get to experience. Tove Røisland.
Second place, runner-up and winner of the silver medal from France, Leo Carrier.
Carrier congratulating his opponent. They're about to go into battle once more the day after tomorrow. Tannheimer, 2 years after his sister had the success here, not at this particular venue, but had the success nevertheless. He has managed to get himself to the very top of the podium.
And the new world champion, representing Germany, Lukas Tannheimer.
Tannheimer now putting Germany really on the map on the overall medal standings. for Germany. They were in 4th at the start of today. Norway getting another silver to their tally. 2 golds and a silver. France, 1 gold, 2 silvers and 2 bronze medals. So Norway now at the top of the medal table, with France in second, going to receive his prize with his excellent race. Just couldn't quite match the early pace of his teammate, but Kubler did great. Galicia of Poland, also fantastic. 3 mistakes and 39 seconds back. This man has got a formidable pace on the skis, and we are going to see that play out interestingly in the mass start 60. Gratuleux Minisolet of France in 6th place. Norwegians quite reluctant to travel to the Junior Cup to favour the Norwegian Cup. Well, thank you very much for joining us today. You've seen some really exciting racing, and it is just a teaser for what's to come. We look forward to you joining us for the rest of those races. The Junior Men's Nation Cup points still controlled, dominated by France, with Germany in their wake and Italy barely featuring today in the race, but they are in 3rd for the men at the junior level. With the mass start 60, we're going to see Tannheimer go head-to-head with his competitors to see if he can make it another gold medal. Thank you for joining. I've been Scott Dixon, and until the next time, goodbye.